Howdy nerds, my name is River. Welcome back to Wind Swirls and Leaps. In today's video, I wanted to set up my planners for December. I'm going to be moving into all of my 2026 planners for December. I'm saying goodbye to the 2025 setup, and I will say I'm not ever really someone who can wait until January to use the new setup. I love starting in December. I feel like the new year starts in December in a way. Just because, oftentimes the planners give you the opportunity to move into them in December. I will say that some of these don't all start in December, like specifically maybe like the weekly section or the daily sections, but overall I'll be able to smoothly move into all of these and start enjoying them. So I think we should start first with my weeks. That's like my functional planner. So let me clear everything else away. Okay, so as you can see, I ended up picking up the purple Tragan cover, and I'm so happy with it. I think at first I wasn't interested because the pictures online really depict it completely different, like a light purple. But in person, it's actually a lot more electric, and I love an electric purple. I also attached my little High Tide keychain that I think I got from Yoseka. It's just like a little guy in his sleeping bag, and I really like those two colors together. So I'm really happy with the way this is looking and feeling. I don't have anything in it yet. I think over the course of the month, my first month or two in here, I'll figure out what I want to end up storing in the little pocket. But for now, I have that empty. And then I did go ahead and put in one of my little like fountain pen blotting sheets. That's always useful to have. And then I have these random stickers from like Moleskine. I think these are Moleskine or Leuchtturm. I don't know, I think they're from Moleskine. Just ones I've gotten over the years. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. I feel like this year maybe I can use some of the gray ones. I feel like the gray goes good with the planner and the Tragan, not so much the red and the green. But yeah, I'll just keep these in here if I ever want to use them. So if I didn't say already, this is the Hobonichi weeks en route to Kumamoto Port at dawn. This is a purple Tragan cover, and this is going to be my functional planning system. So appointments, events, to-dos, birthdays, chores, daily tasks, all of that. So let's go ahead and open it up. I haven't decorated the front yet. I actually like to take my time decorating my planners. Like at the beginning of the year, sometimes I'll set up a few like decorations, but I don't necessarily like to do it all at once. Sometimes I just like to spend a little time in the planner to decide, what kind of decorations I want to do. Okay, so it looks like first we have the yearly calendar. I don't really plan to use this part of the journal for anything, so I'll skip over that. Next, I'm going to use this section as a spending tracker, but this doesn't start until January, so I'm going to skip over that. And now we have the monthly section. So I think in this video, I'm going to put a couple things in that I know I have coming up in December, and then maybe do a little decorating with my stickers. So I'm going to pull out my 2025 planner. Okay, here is my 2025 planner. I'm just gonna keep that off to the side for myself. And I'm gonna be using, this is a Kaweco Sport. This was the, I think 2025 limited edition called Honey. And I got this in an extra fine nib. I've recently been really gravitating towards extra fine and fine nibs, whereas I've normally been more of like a medium or a stub person. But I think for planning especially, I like having a finer nib that's really stiff, and then for journaling I prefer something like a medium or a broad or a stub that has a little bounce to it. Alright, so let's see what I have going on in December. First, I have a cousin's birthday, and that is also the last day of school for my spouse Robbie. So I like to take note of that. Got another birthday, and then my spouse is traveling. Got another birthday on the 24th, and then the 29th, my spouse is coming home. And then finally on the 31st, we have to pay rent. Then one last thing I want to put in is my partner's break starts on the 20th and goes into January. So I'm just writing a line through all the dates of that break. I think that is it for plans. Let me remove this little post note, just throw it on January for now. And now I'm gonna do a little decorating. So I have these cute little tapes I got recently from Atlas. I forget who they're by, but I will try to remember to link them down in the description. They're just like little wintry scenes. I'm not really into decorating my planner in December in like a Christmas or holiday theme. I definitely prefer to make it more like wintry, so blues and stuff like that. Let's see, where do I want to do this? I think I'll do it down here. That is really pretty. Love that. And then I have this sticker sheet. So this is a really cool sticker binder I got from JetPens. It's called Jam Studio, or that's the brand rather. And it's really great. It fits like sticker sheets really well. And I know I have something wintry in here that I wanted to use. Here it is. Again, I don't really remember who these are by, but I'll try to link them down in the description below. I thought this blue would look really pretty in December. Okay, I think I'll take this last one here, these cute little stars, put it down here. Oh, that looks super cute. I'm really happy with that. I really like that sticker sheet. And there's still plenty of room to write in whatever else comes up this month. Let me put these away. I don't know about you all, but December is always so dark and gloomy. And I actually look forward to December being over because I feel like the worst of winter, just in terms of like the light, like obviously like January and February, like the weather is way worse, but I hate how dark December is. Okay, so next we have the weekly setup. So if you recall in my previous video where I talked about which planners we're using in 2026, I talked about how I set up like 4 different spreads in December in pencil to just kind of see what I might like to try out, because I haven't used a Weeks for a functional planner in 2 years. And on the 4th try, I really liked the like little graphs I set up for my to-dos and my habits. So yeah, this was my favorite layout I came up with. So I think I want to go ahead and erase this. I might leave, should I leave the left in pencil? No, I think I want to erase it all and rewrite it all in fountain pen. So I am going to pull out a eraser. I don't have one with me right here, so let me go grab that. Eraser has been acquired. I'm not sure I love this one. It's the Sumo Grip I got from JetPens. I like the idea of it, but I feel like the eraser itself often leaves a lot of like streaks, but we'll see how it performs on this new 2026 Tomoe River paper. Oh god, yeah. I am not a fan of this eraser. Yeah, this eraser sucks. I feel like it's just way too rough of an eraser for the Weeks. I feel like it like made my page all wrinkly and I almost tore it out, honestly. So I can't say I recommend this eraser, at least not for Hobonichi Weeks. or Tomoe River paper rather. Okay, so let's see. I think one last thing I'm still debating is where exactly I want to divide the line in my weeks. Like, I'm not sure if I want the left-handed side to be my events and then the right-hand side to be to-dos, or vice versa. So to-dos on the right-hand side, events on the left. I think it makes most sense to put the events on the left because it's closest to the date. So at a quicker glance, I think you can see the most important thing of the day. So yeah, I think I'll commit to that, and you know, I can always change it up because this is only the first week. If I decide I don't like it, I can always change it. So, oh, do I not have a ruler next to me either? Well, I have this ruler. Let's use this one. Okay. Every Wednesday I play D&D, so I'll write that on here. Every Thursday I watch Critical Role. And then Friday I'll have a video go up at 2 p.m, which is just good to know. And then, yeah, so left-hand side, those are my events for the day. And then right-hand side, oh, I forgot to continue the line down here. What am I doing? Straight enough. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to put some little habit trackers. So let me see how I did that over here. One across and one down, start with an M. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What am I tracking first? Oh, okay. Okay, next is habits. So the habits I'm going to be tracking in 2026, at least to start out, are kind of like things I want to make sure I do every day because they bring me happiness. And that is journaling in my morning pages, making sure I'm studying Spanish, making sure I'm reading. And I wrote stationery, but that basically means, you know, making sure I'm doing something in my planners or my journals or with fountain pens, just like touching my hobby in some sort of meaningful way. And yeah, making sure I do that hopefully every day. Okay, next I have a couple like home chores I want to track over the course of the week. I didn't explain the first graph. So my first one is meals. And the reason I have to track whether or not I've eaten breakfast, lunch, or dinner is because two reasons. I'm chronically ill, so I often don't get hunger cues. And two, I have ADHD and can very much forget to do those things. So it's important for me to check in with myself, make sure I'm pausing, I'm taking breaks, and I'm feeding myself. The second one I already talked about, those were the like hobby related habits, and then the third one are home chores. And these ones specifically, it's like, you know, there's plenty of home chores that are getting done throughout the week, but these ones specifically, like if I don't see that I've crossed them out on a list, I don't know, there's something about it that I just have to have that on a piece of paper to confirm that I did it, it got done. They're kind of the tasks that I could avoid if I didn't have it written down, so I make sure that it's written down. And then the last little thing I want to have in this planner are some YouTube related tasks. So I just want to make sure that every week I'm prepping a video, I'm filming a video, and I'm editing. Okay, and then the remainder of this space is going to be used for any weekly tasks that may not be day specific, but I'd like to get done this week as well. Just gonna call that tasks. I think I'll use this like little bit of a darker line that's on here already as a little divider for my like boxes and to-dos. Okay, so I think that's it. We're gonna try this out for the first week of December, see how it goes, see if I like this setup. And if I don't, I've got 52 other weeks to try out to see if I like it. I think I'm gonna hold off on decorating just until I get a couple days into the week, see, you know, what space I'm using up and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is gonna work out really well. And with that, I think we are done with this book for December. Okay, next I want to briefly touch on my traveler's notebook. So this is the Love and Trip traveler's notebook in passport size, and this I'm using as my YouTube planner. So I don't think there'll be anything I have to set up. I'll just give you all a little look at how October went. Should I zoom you in? So this is how October went. I loved the way this came together. I'm really happy with the way this looks. I really like how with this planner, I start the month out as a really like functional planning tool, and then after I finish posting my YouTube videos, I come in and I fill in what exactly I posted, and then I end up kind of having like a memory keeping sort of look at the history of my YouTube channel. So November also went pretty well, although I'll have to fill in this once this video goes up, but these are the little sticky notes that I use to write out video ideas about what I might film that week. And which one did I do? Okay, so this is the one I'm filming right now, so I'm gonna leave that here until it gets posted, and then I'll fill in what exactly the video was. And now I've got these 2 extra video ideas that I'm gonna move to December, just in case one of these don't work out. I've got 2 extra ideas. And again, these are just sticky notes that I write my video ideas on. I place them in the calendar, you know, considering that, you know, maybe this will be a good week to film that. And after I film it, then I come in and I actually write what it is that I filmed. And I'm able to plan out pretty far in advance because of these sticky notes. And it's just nice to like move things around. And then at the end, you know, it looks really beautiful. So I think we're all set with this planner. The tracking portion doesn't start until January, so nothing for me to do in here in December. And I think that's about it. This is just a notebook with some video ideas and, you know, notes for the channel. And then in here I keep my sticky notes. So I think that's it for this one for December. Okay, next let's take a look at my second Hobonichi weeks that I'm using for 2026. This is the Be Not Defeated by the Rain weeks, and I have it in the Go Out cover in mint green. So I actually think there isn't too much we're gonna do in here either, but I wanted to show off that I did go ahead and put the tabs in the monthlies. These are the Traveler's Notebook tabs you can get in their sticker sheet packs. I think these green ones were from like 2020. I'm not sure if the most recent pack has green ones or not. I haven't picked that one up, but yeah, I really like this green. I felt like it went good with the yellow. And then again, I'm not going to decorate the inside just yet. I like to take my time with the journal, you know, spend a couple months in it before I do that. But I did want to put a couple things here. So I have this little stamp. It's actually my wife's stamp, and I thought it was so cute. So I'm going to stamp that here. Oh, so cute. And then I do have a little book sticker. Yes, so these are some stickers from Critical Role. Critical Role is a D&D show that I've been watching and have been obsessed with for years, and there's this little book sticker in this pack that I'd like to place right here. Cute. I like that. And besides that, I'm not sure there's going to be much to do in the planner section, so I'm not going to be using the spread. This is going to be a tracker for if I read or not, but this doesn't start till January, so no setting up in December. This monthly section does start in December, but I haven't started reading yet. So what I'll do is I'll print out small photos of the covers of the books that I read, and I will paste them in here, and it's just a really pretty way to see, you know, like at a glance which books I read that month. So no setting up just yet here because I haven't started. And then in the weekly section, I mostly just use this as a journaling spread. So on the left-hand side, I write out what I read or what other media I'm consuming, whether it be TV, film, or music. And on the right, I just do like a little journal entry reflection on what type of media I consumed and what I thought about it. So no setup to do in here for now. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Everything else in the back, I'm not going to use until the end of year, like lists of like my favorites and stuff. I will say I did start pulling together some stickers and ephemera that I might use throughout this journal throughout the year. So I have a bunch of magazine clippings that I like to use. So anytime I get a magazine, I love to go through and spend some time, you know, cutting out things I might use in my journals. And I recently went through it all and pulled out some like Fleetwood Mac stuff and yeah, just like anything I might use in a reading or media journal. And then I do have some book stickers already printed. These came from back in 2024. I had like these really lofty goals for my 2025 reading year, and I literally like set up an entire TBR schedule, and I even like went on Libby and Hoopla and looked up like the audiobooks to see which books had audiobooks and like how long those audiobooks were, and I like put little sticky notes like next to the covers. And yeah, I definitely did not end up sticking to this reading schedule in 2025, but it does mean that I have a bunch of little stickers of the books that I own that I can use in this journal, so that is great to have. And I just print those on matte sticker paper in my regular printer. I think I also have a couple little things in here. Well, these are actually books that I read in 2025, so I probably don't need those, but I'll keep them in here for now. A little Stevie Nicks from a magazine. And yeah, just some more book stickers. So I'm at least prepared if I end up, you know, needing any of these. I have them here. I'm ready to go. And yeah, I'm excited to start using this as my reading journal in December. Okay, so we have 2 more to go. First up is the Nolty 1111 or 1111, and this is going to be used as my language learning journal. It's both a tracker and a journal. And I'm loving this little notebook. I love the paper. The paper is so smooth and beautiful. And the trackers in this book actually started in November, so I've been using it. Actually, I can mark this off. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this down for December. So here's the deal with this. I am currently learning Spanish through the comprehensible input method. With that method, you listen to as much Spanish as you can at your level. And slowly over time, as you listen to more and more hours, eventually you can comprehend, you know, native Spanish speakers. Currently, I aim to listen to 2 hours a day, so that's why I had wrote the number 120 up here, and I think I'm going to continue with that goal in December of listening to 120 minutes a day. And then in terms of the tracking, this first one says DS. That is the website I'm using to learn Spanish. It's called Dreaming Spanish. Highly recommend if you're interested in learning Spanish to use Dreaming Spanish. And that's the majority of what I'm doing right now. As I get further along in my Spanish journey, I plan to do other things like listen to podcasts, watch YouTube, watch TV, watch films. This year I'm definitely going to be starting my reading journey with Spanish. At some point I'd like to start writing in Spanish. And then in terms of speaking, there's 2 different ways of speaking. The first is crosstalk. So crosstalk is where you're speaking your native language and the other person is speaking the language you're trying to learn, and you both, you know, communicate to each other in that way. Luckily, my wife speaks Spanish, and so we're actually able to do crosstalk. So I'll keep track of my crosstalk and then finally just like regular speaking that isn't crosstalk. So I'm just gonna copy these down for December. Okay, so I think that's it for this section. By the way, this is a little one-time mini. If you haven't seen my previous video, highly recommend you check that out. So yeah, that's how this is set up. This is working really well for me. I keep this on my desk where I normally listen to Spanish, and every day when I'm done listening to Spanish, I just quickly open this up, mark my little X, and that's it. So it's not super time consuming. Although in December, there is going to be something else I'll be doing in this journal, and that is the weekly section. So this journal does start their weeklies in December, which is awesome. So on the left-hand side, you have like each day has its own little section. It's kind of like a Hobonichi weeks, right? Like the left hand side has the daily little section and then the right hand side is blank. The way I'm going to use this is to just track different milestones in my Spanish. So for example, when I hit specific hour milestones, so like for example, I've listened to 500 hours of Spanish, I'll go ahead and write that here. Also keep track of like any Spanish books I start reading, and then on the right hand side it's going to be a space for reflection, how I'm feeling that week or that day about my Spanish journey. You know, perhaps one day Spanish felt really hard and I'm going to journal about that, and you know, maybe why I felt like it was hard to concentrate, and other days it's going to be like, wow, my Spanish, you know, felt really great this day, and I'm going to journal about that win. So yeah, I'm really excited to start using this in December, and I think this is going to be a really fun book to look back on and see all that I've accomplished with my Spanish in 1 year. Okay, so now we have the final planner that I'll be using in 2026, and this is the Hobonichi Arts&Science A6 planner. And I'm going to be using this as a health and wellness journal. I'm chronically ill, so there's a lot of things I need to keep track of regarding my health and my appointments with doctors and all of that good stuff, or rather annoying stuff, I should say. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get this set up. First, I'll give you a look at what I've added into my squirrel cover. So I have some of those little like moleskin stickers that I put on my own piece of sticker paper that I thought would be kind of relevant to this journal in particular. And then I have some stickers that this is, how do I explain this? So one of my chronic illnesses is called POTS, and in order to manage my POTS, I have to consume an insane amount of sodium every single day, and I have these stickers that say salt, salt, more salt, so at some point I'll definitely use these in this journal. And then here I have some stickers that my wife gave me, and I felt like they were appropriate for this planner. They just kind of gave the vibe of like, my health sucks and I don't want to deal with it. So I've got these stored in here to decorate with for the year. And then I also have some magazine clippings. So like I've got a little cookie, some pickles. This was a little like cup of noodles that I printed out that I'm excited to use. And then finally back here, I have some more magazine clippings that I'll definitely get to use at some point. So an apple. Oh, this was a little sticker sheet from Simple Paper, which is a little like sticker shop I recently ordered from. It's actually where I got my Traveler's Love and Trip passport notebook from, and these are some stickers that came with it, and I figured these fruit stickers would be really cute in my health and wellness journal. Just some more magazine clippings of some food, some nachos, a sick guy, which will definitely come in handy at some point, or hopefully not, and some cereal. Just like little silly magazine clippings. It's always like a really enjoyable thing to, you know, spend some time cutting out some pictures in a magazine that you might be able to include in your journals. So I'm not going to decorate with them yet. I'll just see how December goes and, you know, decide where to go from there. I have put one sticker down so far in the front, little heart sticker I randomly had, and figured it'd be a great place to use it. Okay, so let's take a look inside. The first section here, this calendar I'm going to use for menstrual tracking and also sick tracking. The way I do that is I use the Jetstream Hobonichi pen, the multi-pen. I use red circles for menstrual tracking and I use blue circles for sick tracking. Next we have the section that I'm going to do some tracking in. So I wanted to set this up for December because it does start in December. And I have on a post-it note the things that I wanted to track, and I'm just going to write these up here. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these, but just some examples of things that I'll be tracking is whether or not I have a headache that day. I have rosacea, so if maybe I have a bad rosacea flare-up. I have dry eyes, so I try to use a hot eye compress every couple days. Really, I should be doing it more than that, so that's why I'm going to be tracking that. One other thing I'll say is I am going to do the menstrual and sick tracking on these pages as well. So again, just like on this page where I'll just like circle the number of the day for if I'm sick or if I have my period. I'll also circle those on these dates here. That way I can see if there's any connections between, you know, what I'm experiencing here and with the things that I'm tracking. I'm not going to set these things up for any other months because I imagine that at some point the things I want to track are going to change. So I'd rather just every month come in and set up the things I want to look at that month. Okay, so the next section in this planner is the dailies. So each month has one page at the front. It says like January coming up, and I'm going to be using this as a reflection. So at the end of January, I'll come back to this page and I'll write about anything that happened that month, anything I need to take note of or quickly access in regards to my health and wellness for that month. And I did go ahead throughout the journal and put in these little Hobonichi stickers that came with the anniversary tin. I hadn't found a place to use those yet, so this felt like a good place. And I also made sure to put them on the pages like every other up and down so that it doesn't get too bulky, although to be honest I don't really care if it gets bulky, but I thought it'd be good to just like keep it even from the start. And then in the daily pages, this is where, you know, I journal about how I'm feeling, anything I need to take note of, you know, if I'm sick and if I'm tracking my blood pressure or my temperature, anything like that. So yeah, this one doesn't start till January, so I won't be able to come in here and use this until January, but I will be able to, oh, I forgot to fill this out. Anyway, as I was saying, I will be able to come in here and do the tracking. I did skip over this, so this is the monthly section. This is where I'm going to keep track of different appointments, any like medication changes, if anyone around me is sick, I like to keep track of that in here. If I have any like, I don't know, like insurance bills I need to take note of, that'll go in the monthly section. I don't currently have anything to write for December. I don't currently have any doctor's appointments scheduled. However, I do know that at some point in December, my spouse and I are going to flip our mattress, and that's actually a random thing that I like to keep track of in the calendar. So I can always go back and be like, oh yeah, like we did that 6 months ago. It's definitely time to do it again. So yeah, that's this journal or planner, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's the end of this video. So I think I'm all set for December. I'm feeling pretty good about my planners, and I'm really excited to try them out and see how it goes, and you know, slowly start decorating them more. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. You'll obviously be let in and be informed on how it goes. And yeah, I'm wishing you all good luck as you move into your next journals. Let me know down below if you're someone who likes to move into your journals right away in December, or if you're waiting until January to move into your new planners. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely Thanksgiving. Bye!